Hello, my name is Bev McCullough of Flamingo Toes, and I'm super excited to be here today at Riley Blake Designs to show you my new pillows. So I have a new fabric collection out called Haunted Adventure. I love vintage things, vintage campers. I don't love camping, but I love vintage campers because they're cute. I would like to put one in my yard just to visit, but not to like sleep in. But I wanted to make up some really cute pillows with these fabrics, and of course, because it's a Halloween collection, I wanted them to have a fun fall vibe. So I have a pillow with a really cute maple leaf in the center, and to match, I have a set of another pillow that has 4 maple leaves on it. So I'm going to walk you through how to do these today. They're really big pillows. They're 24-inch pillow forms in them. But you can check on the Riley Blake YouTube channel, and I also have a tutorial for a Christmas set of pillows that is very similar, and it also uses 24-inch pillows. So if you bought the pillow forms for the Christmas pillows, now I'm going to give you something fun for fall to put your cute pillows on. So are you ready to get started? These are so fun to make. So they're really fun. They're a perfect beginner project because there's not a lot of complicated piecing. There's no half square triangles. We're just going to do some regular square piecing and some stitch and flip blocks. So I'm going to walk you through those. They're great for using up leftover roly-poly strips if you have any leftover from a quilt that you made, or you can use scrap fabric, or you could also just buy some fat quarters and cut them up. So feel free to dive in and do these however you would like. So I've gotten several of my cute prints here from Haunted Adventure, and I've gone ahead and cut them up into 2.5-inch squares. So you can see how cute they look together. And for these pillows, I went ahead and chose some oranges and yellows because I wanted them to have that fall vibe. But if you wanted to do even more of a Halloween vibe, you could add in more black or anything like that, or green, or any colors you would like. It's your pumpkin, so feel free to do it however you would like. But I wanted to have kind of that gold and orange going on. And I also have a really fun low volume in Haunted Adventure that's got some very tiny little stars in it. They're probably hard to see, but they're there. And so it adds a little bit of interest to the background without overtaking the prints. So I've cut that for the maple leaf that's here in the center, and then it's also the background sashing that is around the pillows and also the sashing on the leaf pillow. So it's all that same background print. So, and all of the measurements that you'll need for the pillows are going to be on the Riley Blake website as a free download for you guys. So, super fun to sew. Okay, are you ready to start? So we're going to start with the center of the pumpkin, and that is that really cute light background maple leaf. So I'm going to take some of these, and I didn't do half square triangles on these because I wanted these pillows to be really patchworky. So we're going to do stitch and flips for these. If you feel strongly, you can do them as half square triangles, but the instructions in the pattern are for stitch and flips, and those are really easy to do. All you need to do is take a print and a background piece. Now my background piece does have a print on it, but for our purposes, we're going to say background and print, and we're going to place them right sides together. And you're going to draw a diagonal line from corner to corner on your background fabric. And the reason, I don't know how to use this. Okay, the reason we do that is because it is a light background, so it'll show up a little bit better than the print. It really doesn't matter a whole lot which you do, print or background, but because our background's light, that's what we're gonna do. So I've drawn a diagonal line here, and I'm going to sew on the diagonal line. And after we sew, then we're going to cut apart. We're going to trim these off so that we're trimming off a corner. So I would sew right on this marked line, then I would place my ruler so that the ruler extends past that seam 1/4 inch, and I would cut. And that leaves us with a piece that looks like this. And so then you're going to press your piece, and I like to press towards the print on these. So you're going to do that for 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces on your maple leaf. So you'll have 4 with a print and background piece. So let me pull those over for you. Let's get a design board so that's easier for you to see. I'm gonna shimmy things around here for you. So we're just going to go ahead and build out our cute little maple leaf. So I've gone ahead and sewn several of these, and like I said, I made them patchworky. And some of these have directional prints. You can decide how much you want to worry about that with this. I did try and make sure, like on my little pennants, and if I had a camper in there, that the direction was showing the right way. But they're really small pieces, so if you don't want to worry about that, you don't have to. And if you're not using any directional prints, then you don't have to worry about that at all. So before we build this out, the other thing that we need to do is we need to make the stem piece, which is right here on the maple leaf. And that is also a stitch and flip, but we're going to take our background piece and our print pieces. We need 2 print pieces that are a little bit smaller. So you can see that these pieces are smaller than our 2.5-inch squares. So you're going to draw your diagonal line on the print piece here. And I went ahead and did 2 at once. You can sew one of these on and trim and then sew the other one on. It's entirely up to you. If you feel like you might cut the piece a little bit, then do one at a time. But I was living dangerously, and so I went ahead and did both at once. So I drew my diagonal line on the print square, and I sewed one on each side of this background piece. So now all we have to do is trim off. But because I did sew 2 on here, I'm going to make sure that they're out of the way before I cut. So I'm going to go ahead and trim 1/4 of an inch away from my seam. And so you're left with these cute little corners. You can save those or you can pitch them, it's up to you. They're a little small for me. So, and then you're gonna move the pieces out of the way and trim off the other side. And that is going to give us that background piece in the center. Make sure you close up your rotary cutters. We're very, very careful about rotary cutter safety around here. And you're going to then go ahead and open up your pieces and press to the print side. So I'm going to go ahead and press that. You can add a little bit of starch here if you'd like to, but the pieces are pretty small, and so you don't need to. You can press on both sides just to give it a little bit of an extra good press, so those pieces are held down nice and flat. So now we have that cute background piece in the center that is our stem, and then we have the print on either side, because you can see that you want the prints to blend with the other prints and then the background to stand out as the stem of the leaf. So let's assemble our cute little maple leaf block. So we're going to basically make a 9-patch block. We've made some of our little cute background pieces here and our prints, and we're going to just lay this out like this. I'm not going to be able to do this upside down, so I'm going to turn it around. Okay, there we go. And sometimes I even have to like fiddle with it and be like, okay, which way does the leaf go? I don't remember. See, that one I did that way. And then we're just going to put a cute square in the center. Our little orange square goes at the top. And again, all the layout information will be in the booklet, in the printout, so you can access it easily, and you won't have any hard times looking for what you have there. There we go. Look how cute it is. It's a cute little maple leaf. So it basically, because we've already done all the work on the stitch and flips, we have a 9-patch, and you're going to sew this together just like you would a regular 9-patch block. And so let me show you what it looks like all sewn together. So here is our cute maple leaf block. Isn't it fun? So I went ahead and sewed each row together, and then I sewed them together like this, and I went ahead and pressed my seams opposite each other for each row. So the top row goes to one side, then the middle row opposite, and then the bottom row opposite again. And then I pressed my seams in the leaf all down. And we'll talk a little bit more about pressing when we assemble all that. So that is kind of the cornerstone of the pumpkin. That is the center piece, and we're going to kind of build out the other pieces from there. So for the sides of the pumpkin, you're going to take more of your cute prints that you have done, and you're going to sew together a set like this. And I'm going to lay these out for you. These are 2 3 rows with two blocks in each. And I left them like this so you could see that these are really easy to chain piece. So you can just pick up your 2 pieces, sew them together, don't cut your thread, then keep going down, do your next row and then your next row. And you'll do the pressing opposite just like you did with the maple leaf. So on these, you're going to press opposite each other. And the reason we do that is so that the seams nest together really well. We have a lot of pieces in one block here. So if we really want those pieces, even though it's a print and it's not super obvious, so I'm correcting myself here. Don't stress out about your seams too much, but you want to try and get them as close to lined up as possible. And when we press opposite each other, that allows those seams to really nest, and you can kind of feel with your fingers when those seams are touching each other. If you are, you can also add some extra security and pin. I heard a really cool tip this week from a friend, and I'm going to share it with you guys. I don't think she'll mind if I'm stealing her tip, but she pins from the side at an angle like this so that when you sew that seam, you can get across that seam and it's held and locked in place, and then remove your pin. You can also just go ahead and double check that your seam is straight and do your pin right in the center. Also, aren't these cute camper pins fun? These are available from Riley Blake Designs at your local quilt shop. So if you want to match your pins to your project and your fabric, I highly recommend that. Okay, so once you've sewn all of your little sections together, then you're going to sew the rows together to form a group just like this. So you can see those are the 6 blocks that we had, and now they're sewn together, and I have shown you how they have the seams opposite each other, and then we're pressing all the seams down. So you're going to make 2 sets of those, one for each side of the pumpkin. I'm gonna grab my other set here. So I wanna make sure they're right side up. So now we have the width of our pumpkin. This is the width with our cute little maple leaf in the center. Then you're going to make a row for the top of your pumpkin. And this one is really easy to piece. You're going to take 2 of your stitch and flip blocks and put them on each corner. And that gives you that rounded effect on your pumpkin. And so you're going to make 1 of those for the top. And then you're going to make 2 rows for the bottom of the pumpkin, because you can see here there are 2 rows of the patchwork blocks underneath the maple leaf. So this first row doesn't have any stitch and flip blocks. It's just a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cute little patchwork pieces. And then the bottom of our pumpkin, we want rounded as well. So you'll do the 2 stitch and flip blocks on each end. And now my pumpkin looks a little wide here because I haven't sewn my seams together, but you can see how cute that looks. And then you will go ahead and sew the sides to your, the sides of the blocks on either side of the maple leaf, and then you'll sew the rows together. So once you have your pumpkin assembled, then you're going to do a row pieced together for the top of the pumpkin, and that is our little stem and then this cute little leaf. And the leaf is made with a stitch and flip just like these larger ones here, but we're going to just do 2 tiny little backgrounds pieces on each corner. And so I'm going to trim these off. I've sewn here on the diagonal, and I'm just going to do a quick little trim. And these you can easily do both at one time because they don't overlap at all. So you don't have to fret about that like we did on the other. Though I wasn't fretting a whole lot, just a tiny bit. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and press. And I'm pressing these to the background. I tend to press towards the corners that have been flipped. But if you would like to not do that, then you can press towards the print. It doesn't matter on this one. It's not nesting with anything else, so it's really up to you. So we're going to place that on this side of our pumpkin. And then our cute little piece goes here, and then we have a background sashing piece, and that forms the top row of the pumpkin. So I'm going to move these over here onto our cutting mat so that I can show you how the sashing goes on. You can see what an easy, fun project this is. It takes almost no time at all. I mean, it really almost takes more time to cut these cute little squares out than it does to piece everything together. So you will have cute pumpkin pillows in no time. So I'm going to just lay these out here like this. And then it's really easy to finish off the pillow. And all you need to do, I'm going to shimmy some things around so that I have room and close the rotary cutter. So I'm going to take a little bit of background, and this is the cute star print. And I am going to place one on each side. Now remember, once our seams are sewn, our pumpkin will be a little bit smaller. It's just looking a little bit Frankenstein-y right now because it's not all sewn together. But these sashing pieces are going to be the right length once your seams are all in there. So you just have a nice background piece on the sides and the top and bottom. I'm going to move some stuff down because I didn't leave myself enough room. So we're just going to scooch these down. So you'll have your cute background. Now, if you feel strongly that 24-inch pillows are just too big for your life, you can stop here. And then you will have, let me do the math in my head, which isn't really great. You'll have smaller pillows, and you can measure the top and see how, if you want something that's a little bit smaller. I really like a big squishy pillow. So I'm going to add my Borders, which is a print fabric from this Haunted Adventure collection. Now for these borders, I did go ahead and cut them out so that the directional fabrics would all look correct. If you're not using directional fabrics, you don't have to worry about that, but I do have the measurements in the patterns for how to cut these out so that your campers, if you're using this cute camper print, and why wouldn't you use this cute camper print, are all facing the same direction. So they're all kind of going up. So once we sew our borders on, our background borders on, then we're going to sew our print borders on. And really that's all there is to the assembly of the top. And so I'm going to talk a little bit more about finishing it once I show you the second pillow in the series. So let's work on the maple leaf pillow. So we're ready now to look at the second pillow in the set, which is the maple leaf pillow. And if you were paying attention in the first half, it's very similar. All we are going to do is make basically a reverse of the maple leaf that's in the center of the pumpkin, but we're going to make 4 of them, and we're going to turn them all cute directions, and that will be the basics of this pillow, and then the rest of it is assembled the same. So it's really fun, really easy to do, and again, you're going to use all the same prints so that you have a really cute coordinating matching set. So to assemble this maple leaf pillow, instead of using mostly background fabric, we're using mostly print fabric so that all these parts of the pillow, of the maple leaf, sorry, and all the points are prints instead of background. And we're also going to use a cute print for the stem. And I did use a green print because I just love that idea. So as the same as we did before on the other, you're going to do your stitch and flips on this. So you're going to sew across the diagonal on 2 background pieces, not 2 print pieces, and then we're going to trim these up. So remember, just to keep those pieces, I'm going to shift this over. I'm doing a lot of shifting today. So we're going to shift this over and go ahead and trim 1/4 of an inch away from each of these seams. Again, you're going to move those out of the way. And you can see that cute background fabric really stands out against the print fabric. And then we'll go ahead and press this. And this makes the stem of our maple leaf that goes on this pillow. So I used the same stem on them. You don't have to do that. You can definitely make all your stems different. It will add to the patchworky feel of the pillow. But I just liked the uniformity of having all the stems be the same. So once you have your cute stems done, then you're going to assemble the maple leaf in exactly the same way. It's a 9 patch. Each of these pieces are stitch and flips, but again, we've turned it so the background is all out and the prints are all towards the center. And you can see how that looks here. So we're going to make up 4 of these cute print maple leaves, and we're going to turn them. So one will be this way, the next one will be this way, and so on, so that the bottom two are opposite as well. Now, again, you can really decide how much you want to worry about your directional fabrics. In this case, I wouldn't worry too much because your leaves will be all different and turned, so it's okay if your directional fabrics are not all facing up. So I give you some grace there. So once you have your maple leaves assembled, then all you need to do for the center is you're going to add a sashing piece between these top and bottom ones on this side and the top and bottom ones on that side. And then you're going to add a sashing piece down the center. And again, all those measurements are in the pattern. Once you have the center assembled with the 4 maple leaves, you're going to carry out the rest of the pillow top just like we did with the pumpkin pillow. So it'll have the same measurements of the background fabric for the sashing here and here, and then the print fabric is on the sides here. So, and you can still see, even though they're in these giant pillow forms, you can still see the print fabric, which I think adds a fun border. So to finish out the pillows, I really wanted to highlight my block elements. So I used my Baby Lock Sashiko machine, and I did a running stitch with that contrasting green thread, and I stitched around every one of the elements. So I stitched around each leaf, and on the pumpkin pillow, I stitched around the pumpkin, and then I also stitched in the center around that, through that maple leaf, so that the maple leaf in the center really popped. So I added that. You could even add an extra border here if you wanted with your machine. The other thing is if you don't have that machine, you can do this by hand. It's just a running stitch, and it's really fun and easy to add with a little bit of embroidery floss or like a pearl cotton or something like that, and that would add texture. So once I had my stitching done, I layered together the pillow top and my batting, and then a piece of lining. You can use anything. You don't want it to be a dark fabric, so use a light fabric lining and quilt your pillow top any way you like. I quilted mine on my Baby Lock Regalia, and I used like a kind of a woven print because I wanted it to, a woven design, not print, because I wanted it to sort of contrast with all the squares that we have in the front. So I'm also a firm believer that pretty much all pillows should have pom-pom trim on them. So I added some pom-pom trim. After I quilted my pillow, I added some pom-pom trim. There are instructions in the pattern as well for this, but when you're sewing your pom-pom trim on, remember that it's a little bit different when you're sewing it to the top first. Your pom-pom trim will face in towards the center of your pillow. You don't sew the pom-pom trim so that it is out. You'll always have it in towards the center of the pillow. Then you will sew your pillow front, pillow back together, and when you turn them right side out, that allows that pom-pom trim to pop out, and it looks really cute. So that is finishing the front. Then for the back of the pillow, because we want to make multiple pillows for every holiday, right? I mentioned our Christmas versions of these. We want to be able to change these out really easily. So I did an envelope back on that, and these are so fun and so easy to do. You don't have to hand sew an opening closed or anything like that. You're just gonna cut 2 pieces. You're gonna hem the bottom side of one, and I'm gonna peel this up so you can see. You're gonna hem the top side of the other piece. You're gonna layer them together, and then you'll sew them together as one piece. You're gonna kind of base those sides together so you don't have any problems with your fabric shimmying around. So then you'll place the pillow back, right sides together with the pillow front, sew around all 4 sides, and then once you have all 4 sides sewn, you'll want to clip each corner. And the way that you do that is just cut at a diagonal on each corner, and that allows your corners to be a little bit straighter so that you don't have a lot of bulk in your corners. You'll turn your pillow cover right side out. You can use a turning tool if you want to kind of poke those corners out so they're nice and straight. And then you can put your pillow form in. And these are really big pillow forms. So I usually press my pattern, my pillow, front and back, then I put it in the pillow form, put the pillow form in, and then I do turn around and press the back cover again, because inevitably when you're putting a pillow cover on with an envelope back, it's going to get a little wrinkly because you're kind of jamming it in there. So just run it, you can press it with an iron and just press it with the pillow form in there, and that kind of fixes anything like that. Then you can put them on your couch or on your bed, and they're super cozy and super fun. So I hope that you really enjoyed this tutorial. It's a fun, easy one. I would love, love, love to see your versions. You can tag me on Instagram. I'm at Flamingo Toes, and make sure you tag Riley Blake Designs as well. And you know, show off your cute pillows. You can also find more tutorials for me on my blog, flamingotoes.com. And I would love to have you come by and say hi. Thanks so much.